Egypt's dream of an Arab NATO just died in Doha. Qatar and the UAE vetoed Cairo's plan for a NATO-style defense pact, exposing Arab rifts and US pressure behind closed doors. A furious Sisi branded Israel an enemy for the first time, even as summit leaders settled for words, not action. For Egypt, the Arab world's biggest army, the promise of unity has shattered into silence and suspicion. Egypt's bid to create a NATO-style Arab defense alliance was derailed at this week's Doha summit, as Qatar and the UAE vetoed the proposal, laying bare sharp rifts among Arab states over regional security priorities and how to confront the Israeli threat. Egyptian diplomats told Middle East Eye,
Egypt proposed a defensive regional force under the 1950 Joint Defense and Economic Cooperation Treaty, aiming to establish a rapid response alliance to shield member states from external threats, particularly Israel. However, Qatar and the UAE mainly blocked the plan. Foreign Minister Badr Abdelhadi presented the proposal to his Gulf counterparts as a defensive step to protect the region, without relying on foreign powers.
According to the senior Egyptian official, the main disagreement was over leadership. Saudi Arabia wanted to take command, while Egypt argued it was best placed given its long military experience. The diplomat explained, Gulf states also ruled out including Iran or Turkey. In the end, they chose to confine the matter to their own defense council. The diplomat added that Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi left Doha deeply frustrated after Gulf states rejected his proposal. The summit, held on 15 September and bringing together leaders from the Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, left several states dissatisfied. The gathering was held days after Israel attacked Hamas leadership in Doha, killing 6 people. The diplomat said that Egypt had hoped for concrete steps, or at least a clear stance demanding an end to Israel's attack in Gaza and rejecting any forced displacement of Palestinians into North Sinai. Despite the summit's aim of presenting a united Arab Islamic front, US influence shaped the outcome, limiting Arab action to statements of support for Gaza and condemnation of Israel. Another senior Egyptian diplomat told Middle East Eye,
A Qatari delegation returned from Washington with messages to Arab states, stressing that no resolutions should be taken against Israel. The Americans promised that President Donald Trump would manage the crisis and restrain Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu from launching similar attacks on another Gulf country. The Emiratis strongly supported this stance. Other Arab states found themselves cornered when Qatar's stance, backed by the UAE, dominated the meeting.
The summit's final statement denounced the Israeli strike on Doha, but fell short of concrete action. However, in a notable escalation, Sisi described Israel as an enemy, the first time he has done so since taking office in 2014, reflecting Cairo's growing sense of threat. He also said that Israel's current actions hindered any chances of new peace treaties in the Middle East.
I say to the Israeli people that what is happening right now hinders the future of peace, threatens your security and the security of the peoples in the region, and adds obstacles to chances for any new peace agreements, and even aborts existing ones with the region's countries, and then the consequences will be dire. The region will return to an atmosphere of conflict, and the historic efforts to build peace and the gains achieved through it will be lost. This is a price we will all pay without exception. Do not allow the efforts of our ancestors for peace to be in vain, and regret will then be futile. Let me confirm clearly here that this aggression clearly reflects that Israeli practices have exceeded any political or military logic and crossed all red lines.
The idea of an Arab NATO refers to a proposed collective defense alliance among Arab nations modeled after the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, commonly known as NATO. This initiative gained momentum in recent months, particularly in the wake of Israeli airstrikes on Qatar, with Egypt taking a leading role in pushing the proposal. However, the idea is not entirely new. A similar concept surfaced in 2015 during the Arab League summit in response to rising threats from groups like ISIS and regional instability in Yemen and Libya. The foundation is even older, dating back to the 1950 Arab Common Defence Agreement, though it has remained largely dormant for decades. Sovereignty concerns, regional rivalries, and disagreements over military command and logistics have hampered previous attempts to create unified Arab military structures. Following the September 2025 Israeli strikes in Doha, leaders from more than 40 Arab and Islamic countries convened an emergency summit in Qatar. Egypt, with the region's largest military, reignited the concept, proposing a rotating command structure and offering to initially contribute up to 20,000 troops and host the alliance's headquarters in Cairo. Major participants in discussions include Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, Pakistan, the only nuclear-armed country, and Turkey, already a NATO member. The proposed Arab NATO would function as a rapid response, joint military force, drawing on contributions from multiple member states and integrating land, air, naval, and special forces. Leadership was expected to rotate among Arab League member states, promoting inclusivity and shared responsibility. The alliance was pitched as a defensive shield, meant to deter security threats, primarily from external actors like Israel, Iran, or terrorist organizations, and to act as a united regional force. Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states were expected to provide funding and advanced military assets, while Egypt was likely to supply manpower and command. The revival of this concept was driven by perceived erosion of US security guarantees, increased boldness from Israel, and ongoing regional threats. Iran has also proposed a pan-Islamic defense bloc, highlighting the competition among regional powers for leadership of the Islamic world. There were concerns that the alliance could become an anti-Israel or anti-Iran coalition, depending on its final structure and membership. Some skeptics viewed long-standing rivalries, differences in threat perception, and logistical challenges as significant barriers to success.